if you are watching this ThoughtSlime, if you stumble across my video, please be better. But at the very least, apologize. Even if you're sitting here and going, no, I offered a correction. I am in the clear. Obviously, you're not. And how much harm can that apology actually do? Is it your pride? Is that what it is? All right, so let's go ahead and just begin with the issue at hand here. So Zan got accused of being in a sex cult, or like owning a sex cult here, and this is from ThoughtSlime. Fuck this, he deserves to be hit hard. I'm not beating around the bush here. I'm not going to be polite and restrained calling out abuse like this. We don't need to treat this guy with kid gloves, and trust me, he won't return the favor. It's not hyperbole to say it happened to a group of women who are sexually devoted to you while you are not to them, and starting plans to live in a shared place as a sex cult. This is not me being glib, that's calling a spade a spade. Okay, so could what Xanderhal have had at that point be called a sex cult? No. At most, there was, like, what, a Discord? There was a Discord that he didn't even fucking run? But okay. Sure. Now let's fast forward to a few hours ago. Every tweet I make gets replied to by sad little hangers-on to do the limpest burns about some beef weird chud streamers had with me. I wouldn't call Xanderhal a chud, but, you know, what the fuck ever. And then there's the sex cult discourse stuff there, and then ThoughtSlime goes and says, I just made a flippant remark and I clarified I overstated it. And for years, first of all, it hasn't even been years, plural. It's been a year and a half. Learn to count. Secondly, I don't think that counts as a flippant remark. If I call somebody a sexual abuser, would you call that a flippant remark, or would you just call that a lie? I would just call that a fucking lie.
Are you talking to your chat, Suris?
I was talking to my chat. I figured I had just a little bit of time to go ahead and pull up the tweets from the relevant discourse going on.
Oh yeah.
And
Are you good?
I don't normally like covering stuff like that because if I'm covering a content creator, I want it to be like a conservative whose views I find to be like particularly reprehensible, and I don't mind ThoughtSlime's content, but like this is the kind of stuff where I'm like, dude, y'all two should be on the same side, but instead you're being a bitch. Not you, ThoughtSlime. And it's agitating. Like, I had a video that I made months ago called Pragmatic Leftism that showed where I basically had the thesis of, if we are going to expand the left, if we are going to have a better version of the left, we have to accept that we have debate bros who do what they do. We have video essayists who do what they do. We have response Andys who do what they do. And while every single one of those types of YouTubers probably believes that they are the best kind of leftist TM, everybody responds to different kinds of content, so we need every one of those kinds of people. And yet, for some reason, we have this weird fixation here on the left about being an Ouroboros and constantly devouring each other, and I just don't fucking get it. But anyways, hi, Zan, how are you doing?
I'm actually having a pretty good day. I woke up, new TS tweet? Ah, shit, opening the Hugino window. Actually doing pretty well today. Oh shit, doubling down on the lies. Oh no.
Oh, what happened okay, hold on. So
this is in response to the, whoa, I love carrot cake. Oh, almost as much as you love saying Xanderhal's a sex cult tweet. Someone replied, what gets me most is that Xanderhal got out of the whole situation completely unscathed, even if it wasn't a sex cult. Having a Discord server wherein your fans, no fans, can post their nudes is crossing a line, yet these vultures, oh wait, like having an NSFW section in the Discord? That's not an issue.
Weren't you not even running the Discord?
No, Discord that's being, the Discord that is referred to as the Harem Discord was not my Discord. No, it was one of their Discord. They started it. They could have banned me, or they changed my name to all sorts of shit all the time. That wasn't my Discord. I think they're referring to my fan Discord having an NSFW section. As for that, that's just for consenting adults who confirm their age to be 18 or older to be able to post nudes if they so choose. I don't know why anyone has an issue with that. I didn't realize we're so sex negative on the left now.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's I'm looking to see if they're like, where is it in response to? Because I see that I love carrot cake, part.
Yeah, it's that tweet. This is what gets me most is that Xanderhal got out of the whole situation completely unscathed. Did not, lost tons of subscribers, and it ruined my reputation online. Even if it wasn't a sex cult, having a Discord server wherein your fans can post their nudes is crossing the line. Yet these vultures are still pissy about it. Well, wait, was that a thing he did? The fuck. And then he ThoughtSlime says, no, it was not. I worded a criticism very poorly and corrected myself within a few hours. Okay, well, there we go. As long as ThoughtSlime is willing to stick to it now, maybe we'll be okay. All I want, literally all I'd like to see, is for ThoughtSlime to say something along the lines of, about a year and a half ago, I baselessly accused another left-wing content creator, Xanderhal, of having a sex cult. I'd misunderstood a very complicated situation in which, and the evidence is out there, he and his friends were actually the victim of abusive behavior, and I fell for the lies of said abuser. I want to apologize and clarify Xanderhal did not, in fact, abuse his fans or have a sex cult. That is what I want to hear from ThoughtSlime.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen because So to give a little bit of my experience where ThoughtSlime is concerned, I made a video wherein there was a point ThoughtSlime made about platforming that I agreed with ostensibly. So I used a clip from one of their videos in my video because I think it was a video that I made called like, are we legitimizing Matt Powell, who was a guy who eventually would become like one of the NIFB neophytes and started becoming like Kent Hovind's right-hand man later on down the road. And I got to the point where I was like, he doesn't say anything new in debates. He doesn't do anything besides say the same tired points. And then every now and again, he'll mention stoning the gays. And they're just like, is there any benefit to platforming him? And there was a point that ThoughtSlime made on platforming that I wanted to show up, because I'm of the opinion that when it comes to platforming, there's a certain point where we've already done the song and dance with a particular YouTuber. We've already done like all the debates. They're not saying anything new. We are past the point of debunking them. We are at the point of just legitimizing their views. That can happen sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes we do need to bring somebody into the debate arena and just trash them in front of an audience. But I used that point, and then I said that Matt Powell was a liar, because he is. And ThoughtSlime, that is certainly some yelling, ThoughtSlime seemed to interpret that as me saying ThoughtSlime was a liar. And then when I tried to clarify it, even in DMs, I never received any response from them, and that was over 2 years ago. And that's been my experience with ThoughtSlime, where they misinterpret something you say or do, and then never follow up ever after that point, because I guess having a conversation is hard. So
like it's so easy to say, oh, I misunderstood, my bad. Like literally that's all ThoughtSlime has to do, more or less, to say I misunderstood something, my bad. And it's like, it's over and done with. Like, why double and triple and quadruple down? I'm talking to Suris right now. A pillow messaged me and said that Shoutout might be down to come on later, so that's pretty cool. So hopefully we can get her on to talk about the drama, because I'm sure she'll have some pretty funny shit to say about it. God, this drama. I assume you were like somewhat aware of it when it happened.
Somewhat aware of it, dude. We literally had a conversation about it when it happened. You showed me your folder before you ever did your video, going over like what happened in that Discord could not be considered a sex cult. Like, you had a folder of evidence, and you were talking with me about like when you were saying you were about to go into taking care of that particular video because you felt you had to. Like, I've been aware of it because you told me about it like the days it happened. I understand you're high, but maybe you forgot about that.
Oh, I remember. I was joking with you, but yeah, you were there when I decided to make that video. When I was like, this is it. I have to make this video. I just have to. I think you were present when I made that decision. I think we were playing like Classic WoW or something.
We were either playing Classic WoW, or it would have to have been Classic WoW, because we only played like 2 games of League before you bitched out.
Yeah, it was definitely Classic WoW we were playing when I made that decision. I'm talking to Suris, everybody. Here, actually, really quickly, if someone wants to post Suris's YouTube channel link in YouTube chat, we got like 900 people in there. You guys got to go subscribe to Suris.
Or you could always just go over to my website. That's a thing you could do too.
Suris has a website, just like I do. So, do you have like any questions insofar as the drama is concerned? Because I know that you're making a video about it, and if you have any any details of the story you want to know, I can just.
I think this will effectively end up being the video, this conversation, because it's not. There's nothing new that will happen between now and something else that would not be part of this conversation, which is why I wanted to bring those tweets up beforehand, just get them out there so people had context beforehand. Also, putting them up earlier so that it's easier for Cherry whenever they go through and edit. So I guess the first question would be, and I kind of alluded to the Discord. There was a Discord that happened. So what is the actual context for this? Because I know that ThoughtSlime said that, there was a victim of Xanderhal that came forward and messaged ThoughtSlime. And then apparently afterwards, tried to point out repeatedly that no, it wasn't a sex cult. But that was way earlier on in that. And ThoughtSlime just did not stop saying it was a sex cult back then.
Yeah, basically what ThoughtSlime did was they came out and said, so the accusation from the supposed victim of the drama was never that it was a sex cult. Not, at least initially, it wasn't. In the beginning, the accusation was that me and her were in a relationship. It was me, her, Lonnie, and everyone else were in a polyamorous relationship. Disprovable with screenshots, but still. And that I'd promised her a place to live and food, and she had this conception in her mind that I was going to be her sugar daddy. In fact, if you look through the spooky drama screenshots folder I sent you, which you should definitely show on screen, or show on stream, you can see there's tweets of her there saying that now she needs a new sugar daddy. She needs someone to buy her a house, give her a place to live, and get her food now. She just wanted to get money out of me, just all sorts of really shitty stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And just generally kind of, accused me of those things. And then ThoughtSlime took that, the knowledge of there being this joke harem Discord server, and then interpreted that to be a sex cult where I sexually abuse my fans and leverage my 20,000 subscribers I had at the time against these women in order to gain sexual favors.
Yeah, So I'll just throw a couple of things out here, a couple of takes from mine. The first take is about power dynamics. The first one would be, from what I understand, ThoughtSlime's position is that it is never okay to date a fan ever. I believe that's the position they've put up on Twitter before. My response to that, and granted, this doesn't have anything to do with your situation, because that's not what happened in your situation. But my response to that is largely, if you are a YouTuber or a person who ostensibly is in a position of power, you have a responsibility to properly move somebody from the fan category into the friend category so that they're not idolizing you if you do end up starting dating. But to argue that that's impossible is to infantilize that fan. Is to point out that that person apparently has the mind of a child and will never be able to have free will of their own when it comes to a potential relationship with you, which just feels wrong.
Yeah, I think that this idea I've started to see sort of circulating around the online left, that a creator can never, under any circumstances, have a responsible relationship with someone who is once a fan of their content, is pretty ridiculous. You just have to become friends first. The problem is having a parasocial relationship with somebody where there's an imbalance in who's putting what into the relationship. If you want to become if you want to be in a relationship, you just be in a relationship, make that relationship stop being parasocial and just make it a social relationship. Become friends, get to know each other, have that sort of fan creator perception melt away, and then you can probably responsibly be in a relationship.
Yeah,
So,
and
hey Fawn, how you doing?
To try to argue that that's impossible is to also argue that let's say that you are in a relationship with a person and they become disabled. Now the power dynamics will always be in the favor of the abled person if they are the only one able to hold down a job and get any money, because now the other person in the relationship will be financially dependent on the person who is physically able to carry on doing normal work. If that's the case, is that relationship now something that needs to be off the table despite the fact that they've had one beforehand just because the power dynamics are shifted? That, again, that feels infantilizing and feels wrong because there's no point where you can qualify that in any meaningful way besides they have less power. Okay, cool. You will never have a perfectly balanced relationship. You just won't. If I'm making $1 more per month than you, it is more balanced in my favor just through the through those financial means. But that's not enough.
Yeah. I've unironically seen drama on Twitter over relationships between people who have higher like amounts of Twitter followers than the other. Like one person having like 15K Twitter followers and the other person having like 300. Like people unironically arguing that that's a problematic power
And
imbalance.
that is a brain dead take to me.
It really is. There's no way you could possibly argue in its favor. I genuinely don't know. Like I wish all I wish is for either ThoughtSlime to say it for me, or for me to be able to have the platform to show as many people as possible who may have been, unfortunately, victims of the misinformation that ThoughtSlime spread about me, to see the evidence for themselves. It doesn't even matter if they see my video and hear my side of the story. All I want them to see at the very least is just this screenshot folder. If they see the screenshot folder and they're able to see all the evidence, I think they'll be able to put the story together themselves. I think if they see the evidence for themselves, they'll put the story together. And I just want more people to have access to that. But ThoughtSlime has been mass blocking as many people who are on my side of this thing as possible because they've been dropping links to screenshots. They've been dropping evidence in the replies to ThoughtSlime's tweets. And ThoughtSlime doesn't want their fans who believe their lies to have any access to the evidence.
Yeah, and that just confuses me because like what you should want in a situation like this, you should want to be able to say, here is all the evidence and this is the conclusion that I have come to and I believe this is the right conclusion. That should be what you can do. I know that there's some people that will be like super centrist brained and go, "No, you should say here's the evidence, make up your own decision." Like, no, bullshit. Shut the fuck up. That's not. Anybody who says that is the same type of person that will unironically become an anti-vaxxer because they don't know how to read a study. Let's not promote that. Let's promote looking at information, synthesizing it, and communicating it honestly. We could do that. It's not a hard thing to do. But apparently, with the ThoughtSlime situation, it seems that they presented a take, did not present evidence for said take. Evidence was presented on your part for the take, and then instead of apologizing for the take, ThoughtSlime's response instead was to go, no, I oversold it. But at no point did they say they were wrong. At no point did they say that they're sorry for any negative outlash that has happened to that. And for somebody who is so concerned about power dynamics based on sub numbers, they have a lot of power in this particular scenario based on sub numbers that they have the ability to leverage. And instead of doing the right thing for somebody who, again, like I said earlier, y'all are technically on the same side in terms of like where we stand politically, the things that we all try to advocate for. All of us are pro workers' rights. All of us are pro trans people. All of us are trying to deal with people who hate minority groups. That's what we're trying to do. And yet somehow apparently this shit gets in the way. And I don't know if it's ego. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it happens and it's stupid.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think that I think this is just a simple case of like bias. Like people are really, really willing to just completely look past blatant lies about somebody as long as it's somebody that they don't like. And I think that everybody's the victim of this bias to an extent, right? Like I think all of us at the end of the day are maybe a little bit kind of maybe okay with lying about somebody that they don't like because internally they've already justified to themselves why it's okay to dislike this person at that point. It's like, okay, well, hey, all means justified, right? But I think that's something that, like, at the very least, as content creators, we need to try to avoid, because we've got a responsibility. We have to be able to like show our work, you know?
People will
Um,
believe the stuff we say just because we said it. And that's
yeah.
not a good thing, mind you. That's not a good thing. If you are watching this and me or Zan, we say something, please go, fact check us. Please do that. It's the responsible thing to do. But
Yeah. I'm wrong all the time.
We are in a position where we need to be better about the work that we are putting forward, because at the end of the day, there are people that are using us as shortcuts. They are using us for shortcuts for their politics, for their history, for their news takes, for their takes on philosophy, and they will parrot things that we say. Now, I don't know if ThoughtSlime has considered this. I mean, they've literally done a video talking about the more times you repeat a lie, the more convincing it is. So I would assume they're acutely aware of.
Seems like that's what they're doing, huh?
It would seem they're acutely aware of the ability of a content creator to influence the ideas of their audience, and yet somehow we are in this situation where they are not applying that knowledge in a fair way. And it doesn't make much sense to me. And it's like when somebody like comes to me with a take on Vosh, they're just like, "How do you feel about Vosh?" I'm like, "We're on the same side, and I don't care." Like half the time, I just have to respond that way, just like, "We're on the same side, and I don't care." Shut up.
Yeah, I recommend staying out of all of that, out of all of that drama. I try to keep away from it for a while, but unfortunately, just being in this sphere, I'm like lumped in with, literally anybody else who does what I also do. So like, if Vosh does something, it's like my association with him makes that thing apply to me.
Yep.
Actually, I think Seanhead's actually waiting to hop in. I guess really quickly, do you have any final memes or anything you want to go over?
The only other thing that I would probably have to say is this is 1.5 year old drama. This is a thing that happened ages ago. And you did a video about this ages ago. And yet somehow we're living in the time is a flat circle world. We're back here again.
I'm telling you, it's all history repeats itself. Okay, I'm telling you, it just has a tendency to repeat itself.
So I guess the real last thing is that there's what's the best way to put this? It feels like people are very terminally online with a lot of this drama. When somebody thinks that like having 1,000 more Twitter followers than you is a substantial enough power dynamic for panic. If somebody believes that, because you have YouTube sub numbers, somebody who might not even give a shit about that is somehow always going to be infantilized in their mind into never being able to like truly consent to something in the relationship. I'm sorry. You need to understand that people who operate as content creators, we are normal ass people as well. Yes, there are content creators who can and will leverage their power over others, and that's a thing that needs to be called out. But merely existing as a content creator and getting into a relationship with anybody does not suddenly magically mean you're abusing that power. Spend that energy where it's deserved, not fucking randomly.
Couldn't have said it better myself, my friend.
Enjoy your upcoming conversations and enjoy the rest of your stream.
Hell yeah. Have a good one, Suris.
I will try my best to.
Hell yeah. Laters.
Later. Hey Jay says, excuse me, what the fuck sex cult things? I'm clearly missing context. So the context is there was a Discord that was made by some of Xanderhal's fans back when he was a lot smaller. I believe this is even back when his thing was still Pig Puncher ages ago. But there was a Discord that was made not by Zan for fans that liked him. And apparently it was a giant meme where they were like, yes, it's the Zan harem, despite the fact that he was not in a position to actually be in a relationship with anyone in said, quote, harem. For context, around that time, Xanderhal was living with his parents. Xanderhal was living with his parents and did not have any access to, like, outside people in his immediate area without his parents getting fucking fumingly angry. Like, he was not in a position to do anything, and yet this meme still happened. Like, I remember when the entire, like, hey, we need to get Zan out of his living situation, when that whole conversation was happening, when he was trying to get over to California to go live with Zanny. At least I believe it might have been California. I don't remember specifically where, but like, I remember when all that was happening, and it's agitating because when this started happening, when this drama came about and ThoughtSlime was accusing Zan of being part of a sex cult or having a sex cult, I'm just sitting here going, this dude can't even leave his fucking house, much less have a sex cult. But maybe that's just because I was Zan's friend at that point. I mean, still am. And knew about like the background stuff that was going on, that it seemed ludicrous to me. But the problem is that if you were, I think at that time, ThoughtSlime had what, 70 or 80,000 subs. At that point, if you were a member of ThoughtSlime's audience and the only information you had gotten on Xanderhal was this guy is a sex pest, that's going to be your opinion of him for a long time. Just like if you're watching my channel and I said that somebody was a sex pest, and that was the first thing that I ever said about them, and that was all the information you ever had about that person. And I mean, granted, it should be up to you to research further after that point, but not everybody does that. Not everybody takes that responsibility onto themselves and goes and actually tries to figure out what the truth of the situation is. So if all you have is that take from a content creator that you trust, that's what you're going to end up saying. You're going to end up repeating that, oh, this person's a chud, this person's a sex pest. And yeah, if you get pushed on that, then maybe you won't be able to substantiate that claim, and maybe that will be enough for you to realize, oh shit, maybe I need to look into this. But at that point, the damage has already been done. If 10 people repeat what ThoughtSlime said on Twitter, and then 10 people retweet each statement from those 10 people, you've got 100 people saying the same thing, all because ThoughtSlime said it once. That's not a responsible use of platform. Now, I know that there's beef with ThoughtSlime and other creators too, like Vosh, and I'm sure after this, there's going to be some kind of beef with ThoughtSlime and me. Or maybe I'll just be so small that I will never appear on their radar. Who knows? But either way, I guess I just don't... I don't care. I would rather a content creator who I respect, because I do like ThoughtSlime's content. I respect ThoughtSlime's content. I would prefer if they were honest about this kind of stuff. But the last thing I remember being spoken about where this particular drama was concerned was a fan of Xanderhal's going into ThoughtSlime's stream and spending $5 on a super chat, either super chat or $5 in bits. I don't know if it was on YouTube or on Twitch at the time. And asked the question in sending those bits, hey, are you ever going to apologize for the things that you said about Xanderhal, seeing as they've been disproven? And ThoughtSlime just responded with no. Now, go double check me on that, but I don't remember the actual stream that happened on. But keep that particular claim with a grain of salt, as I cannot evidence that claim immediately. But that is my recollection. And not just when you're a content creator, but just when you're a person who anybody respects, you kind of have a responsibility to back up stuff like that. And when disproven, and ThoughtSlime was disproven, when that happens, maybe, please, hopefully, you apologize and you move on. Like, that's just a shitty human being thing to do. So this happened so long ago, why is it coming up now? Because ThoughtSlime did a video dunking on Vosh because of Vosh's conversation with Professor Flowers, which that is its own bag of worms to open up if we so choose. But ThoughtSlime decided to give like a shitty person or some such award to Vosh, because I guess hating Vosh is always in vogue for fucking reasons, I guess. And afterwards, a lot of discourse ended up happening on Twitter about how ThoughtSlime treated other creators, and the stuff about Xanderhal with the quote sex cult ended up being brought up again. And once the Xanderhal sex cult discourse ended up happening again, then it just created this critical mass of conversations about it. Again, whoa, I love carrot cake, some stranger I've never spoken to, almost as much as you love saying Xanderhal had a sex cult. Well, of course, because you haven't recanted that. And if you never recant that, like, let's see here what Merrick ended up saying about it. So this isn't something to make a flippant remark about. It's a really serious thing to accuse someone of being a sexual predator, and you know it's serious. The right thing to do would be to apologize, correct this misinfo to your fan base, and work to make amends. Do you want to build a better, kinder world and lead by example to your large fan base? Because I believe that you do, and unlike a lot of left Twitter, our corner isn't filled with holier-than-thou purity testers for whom no forgiveness is the status quo. We just want you to do the right thing. And then, of course, Merrick found the actual tweet in question. Wait, you said it wasn't an offhand remark and you weren't being glib. And this is the exact point where ThoughtSlime said beforehand that no, they're not being glib or having an offhand remark. They're literally saying that Xanderhal was part of a sex cult and was a sex pest. Like, that's literally the context of that. And then, of course, the fucking brain-dead response here from, I guess, Mike, whoever you are. Dogpiling is traumatic. Also, Merrick, doing this, I will just respond to that very quickly. If you cannot defend yourself or your friend from lies being spread about them on the internet merely because other people are doing it as well, no. Does Suris read his Twitch chat? I do. I actually have a website as well. It is right over. That is the body pillow. That is not the website. I guess this is the advertisement for the body pillow. Hit !Docky, I guess. But I have the website over here as well. But I read the chat. I don't have the ability to acknowledge every single message, but I do read both chats, both the Twitch chat and the website chat as well. My point is that going through this, it is astounding to me that people are not, like, there are still people in ThoughtSlime's audience that have the same opinion of Xanderhal there. And if you don't want to like Xanderhal because of his takes, if you don't want to like Xanderhal because of the way he presents information, by all means, but don't make that opinion based on a random fucking lie on the internet. Just why? I don't understand. Xander said it wasn't a sex cult, so what the victims say doesn't count. Angry face, angry face, angry face. Ah, yes, because of course, when the actual, quote, victim in question said it wasn't a sex cult and clarified that to ThoughtSlime, I guess that doesn't amount for anything either. It seems like a huge argument in this thread is whether they did or didn't apologize. Does anybody have a linked screenshot of ThoughtSlime's apology for the situation? Sure, here they are doubling down on being proven wrong. Yep. Like, again, I have not seen an area where ThoughtSlime actually did apologize. The internet doesn't forget shit, so you'd think it would be very easy to find this apology. A lot of this could be solved very easily by ThoughtSlime just apologizing. But, unfortunately, ThoughtSlime is in a position of power. Again, for somebody who cares so much about power dynamics, ThoughtSlime is in not only the position of power where Twitter followers are concerned, but also a position of power where their YouTube following is concerned. They are the larger platform. They are the larger platform in all of these scenarios. And yet, apparently, they get to just do this with no recourse. But there you go. Like, again, what gets me the most is that Xanderhal got out of the whole situation completely unscathed, even if it wasn't a sex cult. Having a Discord server wherein your fans can post their nudes is crossing a line, yet these vultures are still pissy on it. Okay, so that must be the tweet that Xanderhal was talking about. Just going to go ahead and say, if you have a Discord and you have an NSFW section, there is nothing wrong with that. There is no guarantee that that creator is trying to peruse that section or even glances in that section or even cares about that section. There is no guarantees about that. I know for my Discord, we have rules against posting selfies like that. We have rules against that for my content because I don't want that content associated with me. The reason I don't want that content associated with me is because of shit like this. Because people will pull that in here at all the fucking time. And ThoughtSlime's response to this is, no, I worded a criticism very poorly and corrected myself within a few hours. You corrected yourself, did you? That does not look like correcting yourself. That looks like doubling down. Not only does it look like doubling down, it also looks like an apology would have worked infinitely better here. But that's not what happened. And again, my experience with ThoughtSlime, as very, very quick and dirty as it was, is that they won't apologize about stuff like this. Avalon of Babylon says, oh, fuck, that's me. Yeah, it do be you. Just post clips about Vosh defending CP every time someone talks about one of his orbiters in your replies. Easy. Yes, that thing that Vosh famously does. Except he doesn't. But okay. Sadly, they actually do believe that saying the same lie or statement aggressively and repeatedly, they can browbeat people into agreeing, and that it might convince random people who seem to believe them. It's not even about the person they're responding to, it's about bystanders. What are they talking about here? So in a way, it's not about the person they're responding to. It's just a side benefit to these creeps that they get to harass people they dislike. It's also why they shotgun the narrative at everything, even remotely tangentially connected. They name search a lot. Okay. I have a question. Is it, and I'll throw this as a question for the comment section, do you consider name searching for yourself when you know that somebody is spreading a lie that you're a sex pest? Do you consider name searching yourself to be narcissistic behavior or self-defending behavior in that case? I'm not saying that name searching even happened in this situation. I don't have any evidence that it did. But if that were the case, what would you consider it? Would you consider that self-defending behavior, or would you consider that narcissistic behavior? To me, that would read as self-defending behavior. You know that a lie is being spread about you online, so you're going to try to find the situations in which that lie is being propagated so that you can try to correct that misinformation. But, okay, sure. It's definitely not perfectly normal behavior in this situation. Said self-defense is probably better handled with a cease and desist with a correction. Boy, howdy. The problem here is that you would need to have some kind of evidence of damages, which is very hard to quantify. I lost followers on YouTube. It's very hard to qualify that as damages. Nizakuna says in the chat, it's entirely self-defense that's actually just concerned about yourself, and that's largely where I sit as well. So when I see stuff like this, and again, it's from a creator who I respect, and that's the thing. That's the thing to take away here. This is from a creator whose content I like and try to support, whose content I actively think is worthwhile on the platform. But instead, this is the kind of stuff that they are doing with their platform right now, and I don't agree with that. I also don't agree with the criticism they gave towards Vosh on the Professor Flowers debate, because, again, that is its own can of worms I do not wish to open right now. To be honest, Sex Cult probably lands in the realm of defamation, and it might. It might. What would reparations look like in this situation? A public apology, at this point probably in the form of a video as opposed to just a tweet. And then if you were to actually try to engage in reparations, maybe doing a stream together where you talked and hashed out your differences. That would probably be where I would sit. That would be the stuff that I would want there. There's no guarantee that any of that would happen. Probably not. In fact, actually, ThoughtSlime, given their positions on platforming, they probably would think that that's platforming an abuser or an abusive person or just a bad person. So they would never do that. That's not a thing that ThoughtSlime would do. But I think it would be the appropriate thing to do in the situation. I don't know. I don't like spreading lies about people on the internet. So Twitter ThoughtSlime is bad too? Yeah. So I guess maybe the better view is to take people with the statements with a grain of salt. So yes, you should always take people's statements with a grain of salt. That is a thing you should do. But ThoughtSlime, like me, like Xanderhal, like Vosh, we are content creators. It is as much someone else's job to pay attention and to take our statements with a grain of salt as it is our job to be accurate with the information that we present on the internet. Because there are people who will not take the things we say with a grain of salt. We have to account for that. We are responsible for that information getting out there. The fact that someone like ThoughtSlime understands that, but does not put that into practice, agitates me just a little bit. In the description, there should be, when this video goes live, a link to the actual video that Xanderhal did going over all the screenshots, going over this actual drama, in case you are wondering if there was, in fact, a sex cult. Spoiler, you'll be very disappointed. But if that's a thing you care about, then that's a thing you can do. Past that, if you are watching this ThoughtSlime, if you stumble across my video, you won't. I'm too small of a content creator for you to care about. But Xanderhal was smaller than me when this drama dropped. So maybe you will. Who knows? If you do, please be better. Like, you don't have to platform Xanderhal. You don't have to do any of that shit. It's your platform. Do with it what you will. But at the very least, apologize. Even if you're sitting here and going, no, I offered a correction. I am in the clear. Obviously, you're not. And how much harm can that apology actually do? Is it your pride? Is that what it is? Because the self-deprecating nature of how you handle yourself on your platform would assume that you're acutely aware of the follies of that too. So, I don't know. Maybe practice what you preach. Maybe don't be a dick. And just apologize. It ain't hard. I respect you. I respect your content. I like the stuff you do. Hopefully that grab bag of stuff can no longer include accusing my friend of being the leader of a fucking sex cult. If you guys enjoyed this content, let me know in the comment section below. As always, everyone, if you want to support the channel and what I do, there's plenty of ways to do so in the description. As always, insert end of video tagline here.